So agoraphobia is a diagnosis that is often misunderstood, I think primarily because it's misrepresented in the media. It's often seen as people who won't leave their houses or are scared to leave their houses. But what it truly is in a clinical sense is people who are sensitized to fear that certain places may cause them to panic or may cause them to have an experience where they can't escape or get the help they need. So people begin to avoid specific places or activities out of a fear of that happening. So not everyone with agoraphobia is housebound. Sometimes in extreme cases, it may look like that when every place besides their home is a stimulus for the fear. But most of the time it's maybe three or a few places that really are targeted by their fear. So for some people, it might be wide open spaces. Other people, it might be crowded spaces. Other people, it might be just theaters or their car. What are some other common places that you hear, Maggie?
I hear, or I guess when I've worked with people with agoraphobia, it's like maybe in the same way that I was kind of describing dating, which is kind of high up on the hierarchy, and you're talking about more intense anxiety that's like anything to do to get embarrassed is great. What I've seen is like walking to the mailbox can sometimes be a challenge. So doing anything to leave the safe space
Right.
can be a challenge.
Right. Right. And so like we talked about with social anxiety, what we're seeing now is that people who have been really working on treating their agoraphobia and challenging their fear of sensation related or panic related to going to specific places or leaving what they see as a safe space. We're seeing that people are finding it more challenging to continue working on that and wanting to offer some ideas for how to minimize the amount of sensitization that occurs during this time. And it really is going to take being creative and motivated to continue working on it. Some ideas that I've seen people engage in is really thinking about anything they can do where there's no social contact. So still going to the places that they are scared of, but just going in their own car and not getting out of the car, right? Getting as close as they can. Another option is watching videos of the sort of places or behaviors that like point of view videos, like someone walking into a crowded store and really trying to immerse themselves visually in that video. Others would be closing your eyes, imagining the situation and finding a video with sounds that are representative of that sort of experience. We call that imaginary exposure. What are some other ideas?
Yeah, I'm sorry that my train of thought is headed somewhere else, but I was just I was just thinking actually across the board for all four of these topics, you could think about it as like I at least need to do one a day. So for either depression or agoraphobia, or if you're experiencing both, put your shoes on every day. So put your shoes on, meaning hopefully that then leads you to at least leave the house. Maybe that means then you get to get in your car or then you get to go on a walk. But the first step is just to put your shoes on. And if you can commit to that, the next easiest behavior may be a little bit easier for you. I think with social anxiety, talk to someone every day. And if it's easy to talk to friends and family, then smile at a stranger every day, or some version of that based on some of the like opportunities that you were describing earlier. I think it would be a really good commitment. And then with contamination OCD, you could touch a surface that you feel uncertain about every day.
Yeah.
So not meaning to cut off your train of thought about agoraphobia, was there anything else that was coming to mind for you on that?
That's a really good place to start. Make sure you do one thing a day, and you can always work up from there.
Yeah, and so I guess in closing, I just want to offer that even in these really uncertain times, there's always opportunity for connection, there's always opportunity for efficacy, and because of that, there's always opportunity for hope. So if we hope that we offered some examples of how to understand some various challenges that people are experiencing right now, and then what you can do in response. But the biggest theme, I think, is look for connection, even in creative ways. Look for opportunities to be efficacious, and hopefully that will also give you the feeling of hope.
Thank you, Maggie. I think your podcast and your blogs specifically provide a lot of hope for a lot of people, and I hope more people will listen and read.